Feel high. There.
Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga at Bonnevaux. Hi all of you. On this autumny, rainy, kind of warm day actually. We've all been listening to talks from the John Main seminar this afternoon. We'll continue this evening on indigenous wisdom. So here we're going to dive into embodied wisdom. So the most important thing, Tina, is that you take your own time to receive the messages I'm giving, do this, do that, just to make sure that really the first step is that you feel safe and that you're listening to yourself. And then I make suggestions or I come over and help, but these are secondary, so we never advocate our own sense of embodied wisdom and the deep relationship that we have and that we can cultivate in our bodies over time. Then I could come over, or you could be exploring, and you might sense this doesn't feel right for me, it hurts my knee or it hurts my shoulder, and then that's where the richness of the movement practice comes in, because you learn to listen and then you learn to adapt. And slowly you discover that you feel safe and empowered to move because you trust. You trust. If something feels wrong, you don't just pass through to the hospital. Okay. So let's start lying on our backs on the floor. So that's what you want to do. And so I have some blankets here. Blanket can be very helpful, for example, so it's up to you at home just to explore, and you guys in the room, the blankets are there. But let's just start with the feeling of my chest on the floor. Come on in. So chest, put your arms across your chest like this, all the way across. That's it, all the way across. And so that's going to lift you, to go a bit further. So that's going to lift your shoulder a bit on the floor, and it's going to, some of us have sort of more shoeboxy rib cages, and some of us are more barrelly, roundy. So you'll feel. But this lifts the shoulder blades, and then we're just going to let the rib cage rock from side to side. And your arms can help you to do the rocking motion. Your legs can be bent. Those are legs. Those were legs.
I can't write it. It's bend your legs. No, see that? And then the legs don't. Yeah, and then here, try with your legs bent.
Yeah, so it's kind of delicious and easy, and it's not complicated, and it's not an Olympic sport yet. So that's right, just soft and easy. You're not performing, just being with yourself, coming near to yourself, letting it rock. Wonderful, wonderful. And notice you may go further on one side than on the other side. There may be one vertebra or one rib that seems to stick in the floor and is itchy or sensitive or painful. And so noticing and kind of loving what's growing in your garden is really the way to start. Yeah, that's very nice. Okay, and then just swap arms, not with your neighbor, but with each other. Yeah, why not? So you can do it. So yeah. That's it. Roll, breathe. Wonderful. Roll, faster, slower. Really up to you. Yeah. So here in this little unimportant movement, the soul could be magnified. If you just consider that this tiny little movement, which is insignificant and never got anyone a job or a medal in anything, but for you, it's this moment, where you're digging around this daisy in the garden, seemingly unimportant daisy, and you're loosening the earth. So as you rock, that's what you're noticing. The rib cage with its layers of muscle and its boniness, and it's extraordinarily intelligent and adaptable. And then, of course, the fullness of organs inside there. Great, and then this is the second coupling of arms. Just let your arms drop to the floor. And just notice the breath. Notice the breath. Notice the sense of weight. Yeah, so there's a very big difference between feeling some sensations. Oh, I put my toe in the bath and I feel that the bath is cold, or I'm lying here and I can feel one shoulder is heavier on the ground than the other. Just noticing sensations. That's a beautiful step. But what the body is always doing, whether we language it or not, whether we make a story around it or not, is that the body is orienting itself in gravity, in relation to a ground and to a space. So we're always finding the ground or making roots or resting in our heaviness, always. So just notice now how you're on the ground. Are there places that are really yielding to the ground or really being met by a ground that's coming up as if the ground had hands and the ground was coming up to support you? Or are there bits where you're not at rest on the ground? That part of your arm, that part of your back, that leg, the head, wherever. So just noticing. And then we're always opening to the space around us. We're always being attracted by our environment. If it's good and we feel safe, And we're reaching out, we're looking across, we're penetrating through the space as we walk. So we're always opening to space, or in fact, the space, the richness of the world of creation is always attracting us. Always, it's lifting us as we come to stand. Just have to look at a toddler, you know, walking towards mom or dad. So just notice as you lie there resting on the ground or letting the ground come up to meet you, just notice what you're doing with the space, or what the space is doing with you, whether your eyes are open or closed. Because we build space through the whole of our sensoriality. So we can listen for sounds in the distance, we can look, we smell, we can feel air on our skin. So just here we are resting on the ground, weight-bearing human beings, carrying our weight on this ground, not happy to be levitating or falling. And then opening to the space, or the opening space is opening you. Maybe you want to. Wonderful. So let's bend the legs. You can continue to let these little rivers of experience percolate away. And now we're going to just let the head wobble from side to side. So the head is heavy, but the head is also always orienting. You know, your senses are always opening, or, you know, if you hear that, you just looked at my fingers. So we're always aware somehow. Yeah. So just letting the head wobble. Yeah. And also at home, if you're in doubt, try this. You can try it on your own, or you can go now to get a little blanket or a cushion. Yeah, I'm just going to put this in here. Or a book. You can even put a book, just to give a little bit of lift to your head. Just a little bit of lift to your head. Yeah. Just letting it rock. And as you let your head rock, your arms are heavy and dropping away onto the floor. Yeah, so there's no rule about this thing under the head, except of course if you feel the curve of your shoulders is such that it really puts your neck under strain, then I definitely would. But otherwise, just feeling in play. Yeah. Arms dropping to the ground, dropping away, resting into this ground, which is coming up to meet you, to support you. And then just letting the mouth hang open. Swallow a few times. Swallow. Touch around your teeth with your tongue. One. We have bent legs. Your feet are on the ground. Wonderful. And just let your arms roll so that you are palms up. Yeah. And you can let your arms be a little bit away from the side of your body. Yeah, enough. You could try a little more. Yeah, so that the space in the armpits. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is open an imaginary process, or open a perceptual process where you feel that you're in touch with the whole of the river of your spine. So from head to tail. So lift your head, John. So you're not just a big torso on the floor. Try to open up an imagination. Maybe that's too high for you. Yeah. Try to open up where you feel from head to tail. And that you can actually imagine it as watery and windy. So it's not a stick. From head to tail. So you have the center of your garden, this axis. This is, oh, I've come back home. This is my land. And here runs the river. Here runs the river of me. From the head, the source of the river, down to the tail, where it goes out into the ocean. Yeah. Just feel it. And let that be imagination, a pathway, weight. Yeah. And then just resting. And now your tail is going to grow so that you actually don't just have a sacrum bone and a coccyx, but you imagine that you have a big tail, like a wolf's tail, heavy, so that you project the spine. And what happens when we open and we do that, we actually start to change the tone of the spine. The way that the spine is quite often, or the muscles quite often, we're holding on to ourselves. And now we give a direction. We let the spine go towards the feet. That's your tail. And then at the other end, your bones are growing and you're developing antlers and branches. So really allow the antlers to go one way and really allow the tail to go the other way. And this is heavy but adaptable. You could get up in a minute, but it's also heavy. It's heavy like a forest floor and light like a forest floor. Head to tail. Beautiful. Okay, there you are, standing in the center of your homeland, your garden, your body. Now, way out at the periphery of your country are these country places called fingertips. And just take a moment to have the central river traveling down, and the fingertips. Head to tail and fingertips. And then from the center river, so don't rush off to the periphery, to the fingertips, to the borders. Stay on the river on your boat with your afternoon cocktail or your morning coffee. But you notice at the periphery that there is life. So we do this all the time. You know, we are where we are, but we notice that a fly just landed on our skin. And we don't need to rush off to where that fly is. We can open it up. We can have a central river and fingertips. And the fingertips begin to move. So, yeah, so it's not fingers anymore. This is a liquidy, medusy, oceany, fishy, watery movement. It's not little sticks inside your fingers. Let it be kind of liquid. And the periphery is awake with life. It's early springtime and the fingertips are moving. The fingers bend a bit, the fingertips move. You will notice that your fingers actually make many, many different movements and they can work independently. Fingers can go away from each other, towards each other, they can bend, and they can even rotate on their own axis a bit. Yeah. Yeah. And as the fingertips wake up the fingers, you begin to discover that your fingers have long pathways that travel up the arm. So the arm never existed. It's not when you were a tiny baby in the womb that you grew arms and then your fingers went boop out. No, we begin as fingers and the fingers grow and develop. And eventually these long finger feelers get wrapped in something and we call it arm. So let your fingers be long and let them travel all the way into your lungs, your throat, and your tongue. Imagine, it's all fingers. Fingers. It's a lung, throat, tongue finger. Long. And then these fingers that are moving or resting begin to travel towards the sun. So they begin to go away from the ground and up into the space. From the fingertips,
from the fingertips. Yeah, it takes hundreds of years. From the fingertips. So fingertips, fingers, forearms, and then let everything fall to the ground. Yeah, let everything fall to the ground. And then fingertips again. Which move the hand. So some of you jumped right up into the shoulder. So it's just fingertips and then shoulder blades. And then through bended soft arms. And we roll the head and we come back to the sense of the river, and I'm floating on my inflatable dinghy in the river, and then way at the periphery I feel the fingertips waking up the fingers, waking up the hand. Yeah, and when something starts to fly, other things remain rooted. So you don't need to pick everything up and then even grind your teeth and squeeze your eyebrows. And then we let things fall, and then they take off again. Yeah, and then things could go at different speeds. So one hand could start first, one arm hand, and then the other one could be going slower. Plus, one leg could float up at the knee. So the foot comes off the floor, and so you've got 3 of your 597 limbs floating. And you notice that some of you is always rooting and resting and negotiating on the ground, and other things are growing, levitating, going towards the light, the heat, and then things can fall. And both legs take off, and both arms. So it's really up to you. And then every now and again, that's it. Just, and try not to get lost in the part that's resting on the ground only. Not to get lost in the ground. Being lost in the ground is called depression. Just heavy, just melting, I can't. And don't get lost just in the movement, in the space, in the lifting. Being lost in the sky is called hysteria. I will, I'll do it. You know, no ground left. Let yourself be the amazing cosmic yogic carrots that we were always meant to be. Carrot is the perfect yogi because you can see the orange root and the green stem with its leaves. That's what we are. We are a system that is rooting and opening up. And then we have backs and fronts and all sorts. That's it. And that's it. When things fall, if you let your legs fall bent, then you won't fall. You know, because you know your people. And a couple more times. Something flies, another thing flies. Lots of awareness of the river of the spine. Yeah, the river of the spine. And not holding. Yeah, not holding. And then it drops. Plump. Yeah. And the feet drop. Plump. Yeah. But really drop. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, almost. So just here, now just feel that you're going to let go here and it's just going to drop. Yes, yes. So not carrying and not throwing. The sound of enlightenment as the papaya hits the ground. So flying. Yeah, and then of course you can reach even further, you know. This Go. Ah, and letting the lips drop. Beautiful. 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 That's great. Yeah. Great. And then just hang out for a minute and just feel. Feel where you are. Feel what's changed. You know, what's changed in your breathing. Okay, so wonderful. So can we stay on the ground a tiny bit more? Is that okay? So, yeah, just check. Again, if you released a little more and something needs support, now your lower back or more under the back of your head, then you just place it there. We're just going to let the legs fall to the right. Don't worry if it all goes asymmetrical. Just let the legs fall to the right. And you'll notice the legs go, and then the pelvis goes, and the lower back goes. So we have rotation traveling up the spine. You can even put a hand on your belly if you want to feel what's going on the back of the back. And then the legs come back. One leg can pull the other one. And then we roll, and let yourself roll. Feel the weight of your legs rolling through in the hip joints. And then we come back, and we roll the other way. Beautiful. Okay. So we're going to roll to the left with the legs. And rest in the weight of the leg. And then the right leg is going to pull you, the left leg will follow as you go over to the right. Yeah. Let this, it's wonderful for the lower back and the sacrum and lumbar. The left leg pulls you and you roll through. And I'm just going to, as I go over to the side, I'm going to let my right arm travel up and over, so I end up on the side of my body, on my left side. And now my right leg is taking me, and my right arm is going back. And then my left leg follows, and my left arm follows. If you need to watch, you're welcome. Yeah, and then the left leg takes, and the left arm takes. And you roll around the other way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. Try not to worry about getting the movement right, but just let the sequence roll you. Yes, yes. What I don't want so much is that's it. Yeah, you don't generate the movement from the center like you would do some kind of diagonal sit-up. Yeah. Yeah, all the way. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, it shouldn't look like you're holding your breath. So breathe away as you roll. Breathe away as you roll. Breathe. Make sound. That's it. Roll through. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That was the best decision there. You just, the center wasn't in control. Yeah. Roll. Yeah. And if your shoulders feel crunkly or bothered, don't push through. That's it. One. Okay, so let's go to the left side, and then you may have to have a look. And we go all the way over to the left side, and then push myself up. So I'm sitting like this. Yeah. Sitting like this. Yeah. Yeah, you can turn if you need. Is that okay? So you're sitting in the zigzag, and you've got your hand on this left. We went left, right? Yeah. So, and then I'm just going to bring my right hand over. So you want to be rooting. So this theme comes up always in the basic grammar of yoga. You ask yourself, so where is the base of the pose, so that something else can lengthen and do something new? Okay, so this is obviously the base of the pose. Here, here. And I'm just going to let my spine turn so that I put both hands on the floor. Yeah. And then lean on the hand that just arrived, so it's my right hand. So really, so you're not just kind of leaning on the left and barely touching. Really leaning to the right. Yeah. And then walk a little further so that you increase the rotation quality. Yeah. And let your tail stick out back there. So,
Away from ourselves or
yeah, that way towards for you towards the fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And now look down and bend your elbows, and you'll feel everything gets easier. So you bow with your antlers. Now let the antlers come up. Rest on your hands, and let your antlers actually lengthen your spine up. And you'll feel deep in the belly wall and in other places, yeah, that you're lengthening and opening. And then we just walk back. We walk back. And then when you're here, it's very easy just to roll around.
On the elbow mats.
And we'll be traveling around the room. That's it. And then roll. Yes, and have a nice chat.
I was.
So, yeah, that way. That way. Keep rolling. Yeah, and then the legs. How are you doing up there? Yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay, so then you're on the hand of the side that you were on, and you have this bend, and then you put your other hand. Yeah. And then, so we know now that if we release the elbows and head a little, it makes things softer in the spine, which is fun. I walk away even more around, and then I start to orient my antlers out while I keep the base, and I'm making this wonderful deep rotation and movement in the groin, and I keep coming up. Yeah, that looks great. Up, huge hands. So we're not focusing on shaping. The shape emerges because of our biology. We're orienting the body through its carotene qualities, its orange root and green stems. And then we walk back. This time we go to the other side, but through our legs. Just roll. Yeah. You didn't need to move the legs. Yeah. So you were here, and look, you just go, let's do like this. Just do it a few times. You did it as a kid, and you're still a kid, so you can still do it. Yeah. And we roll the other way. Yeah, yeah. These are wonderful movements for the hip, for the base of the spine, for the lumbar. So here we are, and then we're just going to roll all the way around and involve your spine at the end. Look around a little and stay in the way. Roll through the buttocks for world peace. Come all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. And then rolling again through. Roll through your feet. Through your feet. Yeah. And it's very nice. All the way up into the neck. It's beautiful, and rolling back. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Comfortable? Yeah. 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 It's you can see on each other, it's this profound movement that travels up the spine. Watch me. So now I'm just going to make a little kind of lizardy, Komodo dragon-y movement from side to side. So I'm going to let this movement travel up the spine. Yeah, there's no way of getting this right. So, yeah, fading into blossom. And then, of course, at the very top, depending on the way you look and how you move your head, you'll feel it repercussing all through and interesting tight places on the lower ribs or across the breastbone. Yeah, try to look up at the ceiling. And then we roll. So when you roll, let's see if you can really roll through. Yes. So you don't pick and carry. Yeah. And you're on the other side. And then this movement of the whole spine. Let's just movement all the way up to the head. Great, great. Very heavy in the legs. Yeah. Very nice. So, see, this is great, but you can just keep doing. I'll just show you.
I know I missed something.
Yeah, it's right there. So this could lift. You feel the difference? Do you see? So that was beautiful. Let's say this is color A. This is pink. Now when you go there, it's blue. And then you can do the same kind of movements. Do you see? But this one, yeah, this one is missing. Yeah, do you feel that? Yeah, that's beautiful. And coming back. So we want to come all the way back so that you're sitting on your bum, your legs are straight, your hands are behind you, legs are a little bit wide, and then just like this. Yeah.
We need grass.
Huh?
We need grass and daffodils.
We need grass and daffodils, yes.
And some rolling hills.
And some rolling hills.
And ice cream.
Yay, it's actually a song. Okay, bend your legs. So if you're joining the class for the first time, this is the first time that we've started to work in sitting with rotation. So if you go, you can use the link to go to other classes and see that we've been bending the spine forward and backwards forever, developing head and tail, so that when you have length, it's only when you start to really have length that you really begin to have rotations that the body loves. When you're under compression, which is what we just played with, and you try to rotate, or this way, you get sucked. So it's as we develop length that the spine says, I love rotating, and it becomes easier. So here we are. Yeah, we have a tail, we have antlers, our legs are bent. Yeah, we're going to bring our feet together. Yeah, and then you're just going to let the legs drop open. So, yeah, if it's uncomfortable in your groins, just put some cushions under to support you. Yeah, if you're uncomfortable through here. Otherwise, you just let the legs drop. Yeah. And we're all very different. The amount that our knees drop has nothing to do with sanctity or how soon you're going to get enlightened. Nothing at all. So you could actually be very supple but have your knees up here, because the degree, so that has to do with wanting to sit cross-legged. The way that your pelvis flares, the shape of the neck of the femur, how much it bends and rotates, and where it sits in the hole, the little cave called the acetabulum, each of those things add up to your turn up, whether you want to be a ballerina or not. That's dependent on some of those things. So when you drop your leg, just let go of the feeling that your knee should touch the floor, because it's got nothing to do with that. And if you have those ideas, then you'll never find the way of sitting cross-legged that is for you, because you'll always have this idea that it should be like, I don't know, what you saw in a book or something. So whether you're up here or down here, it doesn't matter at all. But what does matter is that we're going to get up on our fingertips,
And we're going to walk forward. You're going to walk forward. You're going to walk. Is this okay? You're going to walk forward and up. So watch me. You're not walking forward this way and down. You're up on your fingertips, and as you bring your spine up and forward, you're lifting yourself up. Does that make sense? Yeah. And you're coming forward. Yeah. So John, that looks amazing to see your shoulder. Yeah. So we come up and forward. Yeah. And at some point you will stop. Yeah. And you can just keep going up and forward. But of course you're going to feel a cosmic feeling in your groins where your adductors are. Yeah. So that's okay. That's cosmic too, when you don't feel anything. Yeah. Go up, lift up and forward. I said you may feel. Yeah. So for those people who are feeling more. Yeah, and you keep coming forward. You keep coming up and forward. Your legs are heavy. You don't need to work so hard in your throat. Yeah. And then just close your eyes. As you root through your tail and you allow your antlers to go up. And then we walk back all the way. Now you felt something.
A twinge.
Yeah, all the way back. And we bring the legs up. If you can't bring the legs up, if you're practicing at home, always have a little mobile phone nearby so that you can phone your neighbor or your beloved and you realize, oh, my legs don't come back up. Then you need to make a phone call. Come and help. Yeah. And now we're going to go down to the elbows. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn your palms up and tuck them under your back. Not under your bum, just under the bit of the back that's not on the ground. Yeah, and you're on your elbows. If it's not comfortable, we won't be here very long. We're just going to drop the head back. Again, you need to be comfortable. So if you've had a car accident or your neck has bothered you or you get numbness in your arms, don't continue if it doesn't feel right. But we're going to drop the head back and drop the weight of the upper ribs and lungs. We're going to let them hang between the shoulders, between the elbows. Yeah, so really soften in there. And you're just going to roll your back, your lower back, onto those fingertips, which are back there. So your fingertips are feeding into your lower back, and you roll your lower back towards the floor while you let go of the upper spine. And then you let go. And you roll again. Roll again.
Side to side roll.
No, you could watch me just a little. So it's this way. Yeah, this way, not this way. Thanks, that was good. So you're hanging back there and you roll and come back. Oh. Let the head come back up. Widen your elbows and don't take your fingers away. Just roll down over your fingers. Roll them. If your shoulders permit, and hang out there. If they don't permit, take your hands away. Yeah, that's on one side.
We're going to keep our hands in there.
Yes, you can keep them there for the moment, otherwise. Yeah. So your hands are either away or they're under your back touching. And your head's back on the floor. Plant your feet, huge heels and toes. Great. And then you can still leave your hands there, taking mine away, because now my tail is going to start going up to the sky. My pelvis is going to roll the way it was a moment ago when we were up, and it's going to start coming off the ground. And now the river is rising into the sky from the tail, whereas earlier in the class it was the fingertips. And you're going to
you're going to roll up or sail up from your tail and go high, high, high up through the spine, rolling through those upper bits of spine and ribs. Yeah, if it's a struggle, widen your feet a bit. I can feel it's a struggle on me, so I widen my feet away from each other and don't have them tucked too close to your body. Way up, keep going, make a and then hanging from the sky, you come back down. Don't put the whole spine down like a plank. Hang from your tail as you roll down, roll down, roll down, roll down. Hang, hang, hang. And your tail is the last thing you feel a bit of effort or tiredness in your hamstrings. And relax and feel where you are. Your legs might start vibrating a bit, that's fine. It's just sometimes we let go of all those tensional strings. And then things wobble over fulcrums. Tail is going again, feet are getting huge, toes are growing, toenails are growing, kneecaps are levitating, your bum is ascending into heaven. Up you go, way up, rolling through the spine. And this time the fingertips wake up, and the fingertips take the fingers, hands, forearm, the whole arm goes up. Vertical to the sky. So your tail and your arms are flying. This is the way that you migrate from temperature worlds to temperature worlds. What am I trying to say? Not temperature worlds, but migrate from continent to continent. Yeah, you're migrating of these 3 different wings to arms and tail. Leave your arms there as you roll back down. Rolling doesn't need to be very slow, but the tail is the last thing. And then let go completely, leave your arms up there. Or if they fall, let them sail back up. And your tail is going up, huge feet. Your tail rolls you up through your spine. Keep rolling, huge feet. And this time we let the arms go up and over the head to the floor. Over the head, widen as much as you need so that your shoulders are comfortable. Shoulder joints, you're way up there. And now, most important thing of all, leave your arms there as you come down, especially as you move through those upper top 3 or 4 ribs. This is very profound movement as you move through the carapace that we all develop as we proceed to fall forward into the World Wide Web. And our backs get all fixed. We're just opening that up. You can just, as your arms need to widen, they can, otherwise just stay there. Once your whole river of your back has landed, just be quiet. Just be quiet and let this new relationship be there for a bit, because you will have, yes, that looks good. That looks good. You will have made this quite deep movement. More. But maybe on this side just to be symmetrical. That's it. So you need just a little bit of support. Yeah, just have a try. Put it kind of around your head. Yes, so you can really lift up. Okay, so from here, stay where you are. So don't tighten in the throat, the jaw, the neck, the armpits. Just try to stay where you are, but let your tail go up and use your feet. So it's the same movement as before. We roll up. You could walk in just a little and widen a bit. Yeah. Stay flying. Keep going up, keep going up. Play with those last little bits of upness. What is known as upness. Up, way up through those upper bits. Yeah. And then you start to come down, and once again, as the spine comes down, you really release the arms away. So this is a very, 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 very deep movement for the upper spine into cervicals, neck bones, and into arms. And all the tissue of lung space, all that tissue, all those deep pathways of veins, and yeah, wonderful. Open, see, that's beautiful, and long, and long, and long, and long, and long, and long. Yeah, just hang out. So this hanging out is very important. We did this one a few weeks ago, I think. Yeah, just really hanging out and letting the new relationship of the upper spine arms to settle in with all the visceral tissue of the front of your body, but also for your whole embodied self to remap. Yeah, to map this, to map it, to let it in, this opening. Just to, every time we breathe out without doing a special out breath, we let the gravity, it's like snow falling on and through you. We just let gravity change the tissue, let's say. Yeah, that's very beautiful. Okay, hang out where you are. If the movement is new, don't worry, I'll talk you through it. Yeah, hang out where you are. We're just going to let the right leg fall out and slide long. And the left leg fall out and slide long. And leave your upper body where it is. That's it. And just hang out with this extra length. It's like you're a long, long leg arm on one side and a long leg arm on the other side. Just let yourself be long. I can feel there's a couple of ribs here that just don't know what to do. They don't know how to let go. For you, it might be in the neck or the lower back, or just as long as you're not uncomfortable and definitely not straining your shoulders. Just hang out there. Notice the kind of rich tension and release of the curves of the spine. So we'll begin to let the arms come back just by softening in the elbows. So you're very long. Just let the elbows bend a little. Don't worry if you have to lift your arms off the ground a bit just for the shoulders, but let the arms bend and come down, and your forearms can come off the floor as well. So you're kind of soft and come out of that long arm above the head position. So we're just going to let the arms come down from this way over the head position by letting the elbows bend a little, letting the arms travel down the floor. And if you can travel completely on the floor or your elbows can come up and over, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And then the knees bend, the feet go to the ground, and we've rolled before, so you roll over to one side and you come up to sitting. And you come up to kneeling. How is everyone? You okay? It's a bit fresh in the room, but is it okay? Yeah, it's a little fresh. Yeah, so here we are. want to be on your mat. Okay, so we're going to pick up this movement that we've made from the beginning, which is a foundational movement for beginning to mobilize and stabilize the spine. So we're just going to be on our hands and knees, and we're going to reach forward with the head and then back with the tail. Now, if you watch me, you can see that as I go back, I don't tuck under. So I go back and I let my bum stick out. So often in yoga, I don't know why, but you're told that this is bad, you know, to let the curve happen. But it isn't really so. I mean, we want to be aware that we could be like this, or we could be like that, or we could pull our tummy in. And they're all good, they're all different. But I want you just to let go of the belly wall and the belly. Let it hang out so that you have a tail that's going up. And yeah, and it's a squirrel's tail this time. Yeah, it's the fox, the wolf, and the squirrel are making friends. So this is your squirrel's tail. And as you go back, as you lean back into your bum, your squirrel's tail is really up, and you curl your toes under, and you lean into your toes. And if you do lots of yoga, you're not doing child pose, you're doing squirrel with the head down, or squirrel pose with the bum up. And I'll come round. Yeah. Yeah. Drop your head completely on my, yeah. So it's me over here. Is it okay? Just gonna put my hand on your back. Yeah. You felt that? That's what you want to do. Is it hurting?
No.
Okay. Now, so we don't want to stretch the spine also where you have your surgeries and things, right? We just want to let it hang through. And you want to not have pain in any shoulder. Yeah. So you want to, is that good? That's good. You want to be able to hang through with your bum up. So here, this is great. Now up here, it's up to you if you want to go more forward with the arms. If you can, yeah, keep going, keep going. And now let the head come this way. You feel? Now you're dropping through. This looks great, John and Henriette. It was great before you went too down now. So if you come up a bit, stop, and then you go forward. No, stay here, but go forward there. Yes, that's it. That's it. Is this comfortable, Lucinda? Yeah. So with you, I would just open a tab, but you know, you're in there, so you know. You just open enough so you can, that's it. So you feel? Yeah, so you want to feel safe, but you don't want to be propped too much on your elbows because you'll never let go. Yeah, this is good. So you want to have this feeling. Yeah, you feel that? Then you can let go. And it also is at the top of your neck. Don't do a headbutt with the floor. Do you feel the difference? You want to kind of roll onto the forehead towards the nose. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is beautiful. 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 And you should feel that as your tail goes up in the air, something is letting go between your sit bones. It's the back of the floor of your pelvis where we, just like with the jaw, we do too much holding and we interfere with the intelligence, fluidity, strength of the spine. Okay, and then we're just going to close. Here we are, way down here like this. We're going to push with the toes, reach with the antlers, and come through the elbows, come up onto your hands, all the way up and through. And then it's a learning thing, but you could let go completely, which is fine if it doesn't hurt your spine. But if you push bend your toes, Tina. If you push from the toes, you'll feel that the spine wakes up a bit without you doing a Bruce Lee kind of move. You know, you come up, that's it. It's different from just being surrendered, but we're not doing a planky kind of thing. Yeah. And then
And then you smile.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it looks constipated. And then your right heel reaches back and your right knee comes off the floor. Put your toes on the floor and reach with the heel. And then your left does the same. So both legs come off the, just explore. Reach, you reach and reach. And then bend your knees and push your bum up. Keep the legs bent. Keep the toes bent. Keep the knees bent. Let's have a look. Come on. Bend, bend, bend. Wait. Bend. Bend. Put your knees on the floor. Put your knees, bend your knees, and come up onto hands and knees. Now push your bum up and come off your knees. Yeah. And stay up on your toes. Bend your knees. And come up and drop through. No, stay there. That's way up on your toes. Yeah, this is what you want to do. That, yeah, right there. That looks great. Is it okay on your
Yes, yes. I'm very comfortable.
Bend the knees a bit just for today. And go up with the sit bones. Keep the knees bent. Go up with the sit bones. That's beautiful. And then just before we close, let the back of the leg straighten. Don't put your heels on the floor. You go up. You go up. Yeah. And come down. And just fold into child pose and have a rest. Yeah. How is that? Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, you move great. Yeah. Just resting, heavy, 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 heavy. So thank you, everyone. And those of you joining us from afar, today the internet wasn't ideal. So I was told the volume came and went, but we're using a new camera and a new mic. So the level of recording is very, very high. So all of these are now being uploaded to a page where you have all the yoga classes, and for the moment they're free. And you'll see that we've been following. They're in groups, and in each group we follow and then we begin again. So it's a chance for you to play with the basic grammar, which then you can use for any yoga class. So that's that, and then just reminding you to make a little donation if you feel so inclined, no matter how small, it's always helpful. Bye, see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.